Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. Sweet Baby Inc. saga is, wow, decided to apparently ramp up over the weekend while I was taking some time off, and boy, oh boy, it's, interesting to say the least. So much has happened. We're going to try to get into a good bit of it in this video. I hope you come along for the ride, because I'm going through with Smash JT and a little bit of Asmongold and his wonderful editor to give you an idea of what on earth has been happening the past few days, starting off with Sweet Baby Inc. decided to, well, pretty much scrub their website, changing a few things, goes on to full lockdown. I don't know about that, but removing information from their website. This consultancy company, this group of innocent little people who don't want to do any harm. They're just here as sensitivity readers, consultancy groups, making sure you get the right information. They're not forcing anything on the developers. As a matter of fact, the developers invited them in. And if you're so proud of your work, why did you remove the developers from your list of clients on your website? Because that's one of the things that happened. Apparently, another thing that happened is they removed the games that they worked on. Now, why would you do that if you're so proud of what you've done? That's only one thing. That's just the tip of the iceberg in this little thing. And, well, apparently a little something extra happened. According to Master of the TDS, well, the man, the myth, the legend, the one that started it all, the man who lost his ever-loving mind, or her ever there, they, them, whatever. Chris Kindred, one who came out and spurred out online, actually going on the attack. The one who started an actual harassment campaign against Cabrutus Rambo, if you remember. Cabrutus Rambo, all he did, a little Brazilian gamer who saw some funny things going on in the gaming industry and decided to start making a list of video games that were seen as forcing diversity, equity, inclusion into video games, into the narrative storytelling, and Sweet Baby Inc. particularly being involved in these games, just making a list, checking it twice. We all know who's naughty and nice in this one, ladies and gentlemen. All he did was make a list of games that Sweet Baby Inc. was involved in that had possible, probable DEI, or DIE, because it destroys your game right now, narratives in their game. And yes, we know Sweet Baby Inc. isn't the only one, but, well, they're the ones that good old Chris Kindred right here decided to, along with Kim Belair, decided to thrust themselves into the forefront of this discussion. Just made a list of games to inform other people, to inform gamers. Hey, maybe wait for reviews on these games. And what did Chris Kindred do? Tried to get the man's Steam account, his own personal Steam account, destroyed. Well, looks like good old Chris Kindred's been, well, let go. Been let go. To quote the Joker, I guess you get what you deserve. Interesting. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of all this, good old Kim Belair, because she decided to run her mouth at a game conference, let's go see what Asmongold and his editor had a little something to say. Let's check this out.
Did you note about Sweet Baby Inc.'s website? What is this here? Let me look it up. So they got rid of the other things up on the top here. What about learn more? No? What is this?
Context. Yesterday, the XOXO Indie Game Festival posted a presentation by Sweet Baby Inc. CEO Kim Belair that was held last August. You might remember her from these previous...
Here's where the fun starts, because Kim Belair tries to say that they don't do this, right? I did a video on this lovely little conference, but one thing I wasn't aware of, she said it more than once. So what are we supposed to think, Kim? What are we supposed to think?
Viral moments.
And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Have a coffee with marketing.
She said it twice. Womanize. Womanize? Build connections with marketing to express the value of inclusion. And if they don't like it, terrify them. Does that sound like someone who's not interested in forcing diversity, inclusion, and equity into your video games? Oh, it's almost like we're not trying to misconstrue what you're saying. We're not trying to take you out of context. I've said this before, and many people, many other YouTube channels far more popular than mine, have said the same things. We are simply taking your own words and bringing them out into the light.
So that you can absolutely terrify them by telling them, here's
thing.
what's going to happen if you don't do this.
And of
That's called extortion, ladies and gentlemen.
course, people were expecting some type of explanation or backpedaling after these psychotic moments. So what did she do? She quadrupled down.
I am the crazed CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., the DEI-obsessed censorship mafia who is currently ruining and wokeifying all of the video games that you've ever played.
Now, before I continue with this, obviously she's being hyperbolic, describing to the crowd that, yes, this is what they're calling me, all the chuds online. No, we're taking your words, and we're taking you at your word, Kim. We believe you. We believe what you say as far as what you're trying to do. And unfortunately, you don't seem to like it. But the reason why I paused right there says, I want you to listen to the crowd's reaction. It's rather telling, maybe?
Within a couple of weeks, Square Enix was removed from Sweet Baby's clients, and now the site has gone through a complete overhaul.
A complete overhaul. So, did Square Enix drop them as a client? Oh, not entirely sure, but maybe Square Enix said, take us off your website or else. Could Sweet Baby Inc. still be involved with Square Enix and still be involved in, the likes of Ubisoft? Well, we already know the answer to that based on the games that have been coming out as of late. 2K games, you can see it right there. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, the internet is forever. You can scrub it from your website, Sweet Baby Stench, but the stench sticks around.
I mean, it's probably a good idea. I mean, like, if I was one of the companies, I would have asked them to do that myself.
I have to agree with Asmongold on this one because, as he's about to say right now, Sweet Baby Inc. and consulting companies just like them are a blight on sales for a video game. When we find out that something is amiss, well, if nothing else, people will wait for the reviews. They'll wait for someone to play the game, which I highly recommend each and every one of you do. But would you want your name, your game, your development, your company on the SBI website right now? I think not.
Sweet Baby Inc. has completely redesigned their entire website, scrubbing away any significant amounts of info that used to detail their partnerships and projects with other companies. Gone are the pages that link their name to specific games and developers, now being replaced with a bare bones overview of what they claim to be offering the game industry.
Now, why do you think they did that? Did the developers force their hand? Or is Sweet Baby Inc. trying to hide things, cowering in fear at what is happening to them? The negative press, the negative publicity, or more like they're tired of people showing their own words out into the light?
I mean, if you have a product and the product is like really unpopular and a lot of people don't like it, of course you're going to try to find some way to not be involved with that. My question is, why do these companies allow themselves to be swayed and swindled by DEI? I think companies do it because they feel like they have to, like prevent.
Absolutely 100%, because for some reason these companies, these CEOs, these marketing departments believe that Twitter is the real world, because that's really the only place that all these arguments, these discussions, these DEI initiatives, the discussions are taking place on Twitter of all places. Twitter is not the real world. Maybe pay attention to the discussions on YouTube. There are far more communications, far more interactions on YouTube than there is on Twitter. Or maybe pay attention to the sales numbers of the video games that are selling. Pay attention to what they're doing. Pay attention to how those games play out, the narratives they're pushing or not pushing, and go from there.
Them from like getting people mad at them on Twitter. And so if you think about it from that logic, these are people who want to avoid controversy. Well, if avoiding controversy is causing controversy,
And
then
right there,
they're not really serving their goal, are they? No, they're not.
And that right there that's it. By trying to avoid controversy, dealing with Sweet Baby Stench and consultancy groups like them, they are causing far more controversy because this so-called claim that we are the the vocal minority online, well, that's provably false, and all you have to do is look at the sales. But over here, talking about the XOXO Fest of 2024, go check out Smash JT's website. Follow Asmongold too. He's not that bad. I know a lot of people dislike him, but he has good takes, he has bad takes, just like all of us. But over here on SmashJT.com, Kim Belair gaslights gamers' hate campaign at the XOXO Fest. Oh no, how can you sit there and play the victim? Crying, poor victim doesn't work when we have the receipts, and that's it. That's the interesting part, and I've brought this up numerous times. Other people have as well, but whatever. Why did I say whatever? Moving on. We bring receipts. We bring your tweets, your messages, your website, screenshots of directly from your website, at least what it used to be. Your own words held at GDC. Your own words here. Your own claims. And use them against you to show exactly what kind of people you are, what kind of person you are, Kim Belair. The article goes, Kim Belair attempted to paint a rosy picture of her company and herself as a perpetual victim of an unjust hate campaign that they started. Regardless of the employee and whether or not they still work at Sweet Baby Stench, it is a fact. They started it. And now that gamers have decided to fight back, no longer tolerate the nonsense coming out of the mainstream gaming industry, well, now they are the victims. Don't you like how well that works? You throw a rock at someone, and when they beat you up in Minecraft, you are not the victim at all. She conveniently left out any context whatsoever because that is their game. That is their playbook. That is the script. We've all seen it before. It's just now it doesn't work so well because we are familiar with the script that they are using over and over and over again. So now we bring receipts. We bring proof of what we do and what they do for everyone to see, for everyone to compare one to the other with dates. So their little playbook doesn't work. You can try to leave out the cause all you want to, but believe me, we'll be here to show everyone. Important key details explaining why the gaming community, up to and including Elon Musk, have taken issue with SBI in the first place. Maybe because, they're trying to force a narrative, an initiative into games where it just does not feel like it fits. She then proceeds to attack Elon Musk, which is like apparently flavor of the month right now. Let's go after Elon Musk, like one of the richest people in the world who sent rockets into space and lands them perfectly fine and, is going to be the architecture of the human extinction. But anyway, for daring to share his opinion on them publicly, because opinions are bad when they don't follow the narrative. If you have an opinion different from theirs, you are public enemy number one. Shares have been ignoring why he criticized Sweet Baby Inc. in the first place, and instead claiming he was responsible for bringing a wave of hate to her company. No, Kim, you are responsible for that. By your own words, by your own actions, by Chris Kindred's own words and his own actions. That's it. We're only just getting started. Welcome to Sweet Baby Inc. CEO Kim Belair's masterclass in gaslighting. This ought to be fun. XOXO is an experimental festival for independent artists who live and work online. Lord have mercy, I wouldn't want to live online. Go out and touch some grass, ladies and gentlemen. At the 2024 XOXO Festival, Kim Belair, CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., took to the stage for 21 minutes and 2 seconds, and I just do not want to watch that entire video, of what can only be described as a masterclass in gaslighting. Belair presented herself as a narrative expert. Really? Oh. Well, I guess technically, because she's trying to paint a false narrative of what actually happened that her company was involved in. But after painfully listening to her entire speech, oh, you have my sympathy, Smash. It was clear that her first expertise here, her true expertise here lies in the lies. Oh, you hurt me. Spinning a story where her company is always the wronged party, even though they started the whole mess with Cabrutus attacking her group, Cabrutus Rambo. I do always have difficulty. Cabrutus Rambo. Never acknowledging any wrongdoing or accountability ever, because that's what their side is. They're experts at that. Zero accountability. Kim Belair, Sweet Baby Inc., writer and narrative designer Kim Belair, blah, blah, blah. The audience was fed the idea that Sweet Baby Inc. is still a simply a small, kind group of lovingly passionate developers. They are not. That just have a passion for making games awesome. No. That are being targeted by harassment. Again, you started it. I'm sounding like a broken record again. She made zero mention of why people are genuinely upset, because that would destroy her speech. It would destroy her narrative. Honestly baffling how anyone could listen to this and not come away with questions. Yeah, simple enough. What Belair conveniently glossed over throughout was a troubling behavior with her own company. She failed to mention how Sweet Baby Inc.'s employee Chris Kindred, who apparently no longer works there. What took you so long? Chris Kindred tried to cancel Cabrutus Rambo. Not to mention that, but there's according to Smash JT, and we have to take him at his word because that's all we have as currency, tried to get Smash JT fired from a job he hadn't worked at in 3 years. The list was created from Sweet Baby Inc.'s own website, from their own publicly available information to make consumers make more informed choices. I don't believe Cabrutus was trying to get anyone to boycott anything, simply putting information out there to give potential customers more information. Kindred's response was to try and erase it, and to try and get Cabrutus's channel, his Steam account, absolutely destroyed. Those who have been following this channel, among others, a lot of channels have been talking about this because, well, the more people that talk about it, the more difficult it is to sweep it under the rug. Get all the information out quickly, in a hurry, and as best you can. Where was I? So, those who have been following the channel for a while would remember that this is the very same Chris Kindred who also attempted to have me fired from my old job, slandering them as a racist bigot without any basis, because they don't have any basis. They make claims and they scream, "This person's racist," because that's the old playbook. That is the old script that was used in the first Gamergate debacle, and back then it worked. So they figured that it's going to work again so many years later, except that we've all grown older and far more wiser and far more desensitized to these accusations of bigotry that hold absolutely no meaning anymore. So none of it works. Their old scripts don't work. Their old playbook just does not work. Of course, Belair made no mention of this in her victim-focused narrative because that would collapse her house of cards. Then there's Cameron Wild. Cameron Wild was loads of fun. Another Sweet Baby Inc. employee who gave a presentation filled with anti-white rhetoric, making it clear that their goal was to burn the game industry to the ground. Well, it wasn't just that was their goal. They said it straightforward in their speech on one of the pages, one of the flashcards on their little PowerPoint presentation. Burn the game industry to the ground. So are we being hyperbolic? Are we taking what they said out of context? You decide for yourself. A few of the lovely Chris Kindred tweets. Yeah. How about, let's see, Maya Felix Kramer, who has a well-documented history of making inflammatory and racist comments on social media, yet Belair remains silent on these glaring issues during her talk, instead painting the entire gaming community as part of some grand conspiracy to take down her company for no reason. Belair even took a moment to throw a jab at Elon Musk, who she labeled as a noted buffoon, because, again, let's call the richest man on the planet sending people into space a buffoon. That makes sense, right? Because Elon Musk has an opinion they don't like. Again, she left out the crucial details of why Musk or anyone else in the game industry would feel compelled to speak out. Maybe because, what gamers see, they see a game, that's, well, rather trash, to put it nicely, and then they see Kim Belair or Sweet Baby Inc. or one of their employees involved with said game, so 1 + 1 = 2. It's a pretty easy, pretty safe assumption to come to. Pretty easy conclusion. Reality is, companies that work with Sweet Baby Inc. always seem to find themselves mired in failure and financial ruin. Now, is Sweet Baby Inc. the direct cause of this? Well, honestly, we don't know. We really don't know. And like I said before, the thing is, Sweet Baby Inc. 1 plus failure and ruin plus 1 = 2. Sweet Baby Inc.'s involvement. Game is an astronomical failure due to bad writing, bad gameplay, piss-poor gameplay loop, and ideology driven right to the forefront, hitting you over the head with a sledgehammer. What other conclusion are we as gamers supposed to come to if that seems to be the case over and over and over and over and over again? Rather than address those concerns, honestly, Kim Belair continues to weave a tale where Sweet Baby Inc. is the victim, refusing to take responsibility for her team's actions and instead blaming the entire world. Well, she doesn't blame the entire world, just, I believe she put it as far-right conservatives, because whether or not you like a video game or not, if you hate these video games that they're pumping out, you are obviously on the right side of the political spectrum. Explain to me how that makes sense. You can't, because it doesn't. Gamers come from all walks of life, all religious, sexual, political, biological, all these things, all different walks of life. And, I got a feeling a good majority of them, good majority of them are not liking the slop coming out of the mainstream gaming industry. Think about it this way. Do you honestly believe a game can be such an astronomical failure simply because of half of your video game audience? Explain to me how that's possible. More people would have played Concord if it was only the so-called right-wing chuds that did not like the game. Dustborn maybe would have had more in sales if it was, I don't know, more than just the so-called, again, the right-wing chuds, the cis hetero toxic masculine conservative right-wing yada yada buzzword bullshit. If they were the only side that didn't play these games, didn't like these games, well, the game would have had more people playing it. Because it's an easy conclusion to come to that if you have 1 million gamers, a good, close to half of them will be on one side of the political spectrum. The other half will be on the other side of the political spectrum. Not to mention the idea that you have so many politically conservative individuals chastising adult males who play video games, condemning them, calling them children. Why are you playing a child's video game? But that never seems to come up whenever your game fails, because it's obviously the right-wing, far right-wing chuds who don't seem to be buying your game, therefore it fails. Again, it's one of those things where if you think about it for half a second, you realize, well, first of all, it's bullshit, but it just doesn't make sense. Their argument against us does not make sense, doesn't hold water. Watching Belair's presentation was a stomach-turning exercise in watching someone dodge accountability while claiming to be targeted unfairly. The sad truth is, this isn't about harassment or hate campaigns. Well, no, it's about please, dear Lord, make a fun game. Just do that. I'm not interested in your politics. I'm not interested in your sexuality. I'm not interested in your religion. Just make the game fun. I don't even care what kind of nonsense goes on behind the scenes at your studio, CD Projekt Red, or how many people you let take the day off for menstrual cycle. I don't care. I don't care about crunch. I don't care about the work environment. That's a you problem, not a gamer problem. Make a fun game, and you'd be surprised at how many people flock to the stores or the online sites and throw money at you left, right, and center. Make a fun game. I'm sorry, Steve. Make it fun first. Fuckers. This is about the gaming community rightfully calling out an awful company with an awful CEO and the awful people that occupy it who have not only failed to deliver on its project, but has also employed these individuals who act with impunity because, you know, there was no message condemning any of the things that Chris Kindred did. No apology, and obviously we will never get one, but no statement, no apology, no condemnation whatsoever over Chris Kindred's actions. Just a quietly firing him. Because apparently, according to Master of the TDS and his sources, the termination of the contract with Chris Kindred, his employment, was back in May, which honestly makes sense that, you know, I believe this was when all the things were happening. So you have to perform an investigation, see what's going on, and all the bad publicity put on Sweet Baby Inc. They decided to part ways with him, which, if that's true, I would actually commend them if, and only if, they came out and took accountability for the actions of one of their employees. But we all know that's not going to happen. So therefore, instead of accepting any sort of statement of, they believe we do this, but we don't. Well, I'm going to continue believing that's what you do, and that's what you think, and that's what you feel, because not one single time did you come out and speak out against or condemn the actions of supposedly a single employee. So we will continue on this little road to make sure that everyone is aware of any and all games that your consultancy group is part of. Cabrutus Rambo's list will continue to grow. We will continue to make videos about all the things you say, all the things you do, all the things you talk about, all the names you continuously call us, to make sure the information is out there for everyone to see. Gamers are not the problem here, Kim. You are. Kim Belair is the problem. And companies like Sweet Baby Inc. are the problem, not the gamers. Maybe cater to the gamers every once in a while, and you'd be surprised what your bottom line does, but that's all I've got. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Thank you for making it this far. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those nifty little things that YouTube is making you do, and I do hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.